The great council chamber floated in the middle of space, a giant structure of metal and light. Its walls gleamed like silver glass, reflecting the stars outside. Alien delegates filled the room, sitting in high chairs made of strange metals and crystals. Each delegate was different. Some had many eyes, others had wings or scales, some seemed to shine like jewels. All of them looked at the humans with cold judgment. Ethan Cole, the human ambassador, stood at the front of the chamber. He was not tall, but he carried himself with calm strength. His dark hair was neatly combed, and his eyes did not waver, even as the aliens stared down at him. Around him were guards from different human colonies, but they had been ordered to stand aside. No weapon could reach him. The council wanted only to make an example. The council chamber hummed with quiet voices. The alien representatives whispered in strange languages. Some moved their eyes like cameras. Others shifted their limbs like snakes. Ethan listened. He could not understand the words, but the tone was clear. The council had made up their minds. Humanity had to pay. The head of the council was a tall being with skin like black crystal. Its voice echoed in the chamber without moving its mouth. Humans are guilty, it said. They acted without permission. They interfered with council matters. They drew blood. It must be punished. Its many eyes blinked at Ethan, as though seeing inside him. Ethan took a deep breath. He had expected this. The council always considered themselves above humans. They thought humans were weak, emotional, and too proud. But Ethan knew better. He had seen humans survive worse than this. He had seen humans fight and rise again, even when everything seemed lost. He spoke clearly. "You call it a crime," he said, "but we acted to defend ourselves. You call it blood, but it was our life or theirs. You speak of law, but you forget honor." The alien delegates murmured among themselves. Some hissed, others clicked, and one even made a sound like breaking glass. They did not like hearing a human speak without fear. The head of the council tilted its head. "Your words are meaningless," it said. "The council decides you will be executed. Your colonies will be watched. No human shall be safe under the protection of the council again." Ethan's heart did not pound. He did not beg. Instead, he lifted his chin. "You think this ends with me? You think humans will kneel? You are wrong." He paused and looked at the assembly. "I am one man. But we are more than this chamber, more than these stars. You will remember today. You will remember that you shed human blood." A ripple of shock moved through the council. No human had ever spoken like this before. They were used to diplomats who pleaded, who begged for mercy. But Ethan did not ask for mercy. He only warned them. The sentence was final. The council executed him in the center of the chamber. It was done quietly. No human cried out. No alien cheered. The chamber seemed to hold its breath. Ethan fell, but his eyes stayed open for a moment, as if looking into the souls of those who had condemned him. Then he was gone. Across human space, the execution was broadcast in secret. Humans watched in silence. Some clenched their fists. Others stared at the stars, thinking of what they would do next. No one shouted. No one wept. Humans were angry, but they were patient. They had learned patience from centuries of survival. They had learned that revenge was more than anger. It was planning, waiting, and striking at the right moment. The council thought they had won. They believed humanity would bow, that humans would beg for forgiveness, that humans would hide. They were wrong. Humanity did not respond immediately. There were no fleets sent, no cries of war. Humans stayed in silence, as if the world had stopped. The council waited, thinking that silence meant submission. But silence was not submission. Silence was preparation. On the red deserts of Mars, deep underground, a meeting was taking place. Admiral Laura Briggs stood in a circular room filled with screens and maps. Around her sat the remaining leaders of the human colonies, spoke in low voices, careful not to be heard outside. They spoke of the council, of the betrayal, and of Ethan Cole's execution. Laura's face was serious. Her brown eyes held the fire of someone who had faced death and returned. "They think they have defeated us," she said, They think killing one man will end the human race. They are wrong. They do not understand what humanity is. They do not understand patience. They do not understand strategy. They will learn, but not yet. Not until the time is right. One of the leaders, a man named Jack Harper, leaned forward. "We cannot fight them now," he said. "Their fleets are stronger, and their weapons are far beyond ours. If we attack, we die." Laura nodded. "Yes, we cannot fight openly. We can strike silently. We can prepare. We can learn. When we strike, they will not know where it comes from. Every mistake they made today will be their undoing. Every word they spoke in anger will be remembered." Another leader, a woman named Clara Bennett, spoke next. "How long must we wait? How many years before we act?" Laura smiled faintly, though there was no joy in it. "Years, decades, even centuries if we must. Humans do not forget. We do not forgive, but we plan. When the time comes, they will see the cost of spilling human blood." Deep in the underground base, humans worked quietly. Engineers repaired old ships and modified them in secret. Scientists studied alien technology they had captured long ago, learning how to turn it against the Council. Soldiers trained in silence, preparing for battles they might never show to the galaxy. Every person understood the plan. Every person understood the promise made by Ethan Cole's death. The Council would pay. Meanwhile, the Council continued their meetings. They thought humans were broken, scattered, and weak. They did not realize that humans were already moving in secret, striking without warning. Small Council ships began to disappear. Communications were lost. Supply convoys vanished in the vast emptiness of space. The Council blamed pirates, accidents, and technical failures. They did not suspect humans. Humans never made the first move openly. They worked like shadows, silent and invisible. Back on Earth, in a secure command room, Admiral Briggs watched the Council's fleets on her screens. "They believe themselves untouchable," she said to her officers. "They think they have power over humanity. But they forget one thing. Humans adapt. Humans endure. Humans fight back when pushed to the edge." Her second-in-command, a young officer named Liam Shaw, nodded. "We have the advantage of surprise. They do not expect us to be organized. They do not know we have allies in their own systems. We can strike carefully, taking only what is necessary." Laura Briggs looked at him and said, "Do not underestimate them. The Council has many species working together, but none understand humans as we do. They do not feel the same drive to survive. They do not have our history. They do not have our memory. It will learn, but it will cost them everything." The weeks passed. Small signs of humanity's silent response appeared. Human freighters disappeared from Council records, but reappeared elsewhere, delivering supplies and weapons. Some alien patrol ships were found abandoned, their crews missing, with strange markings etched on the hull. No human claimed responsibility. The Council grew anxious. They sent investigation teams, but every team returned, empty-handed or not at all. Ethan Cole's death had not silenced humanity. It awakened something in them, a patient, careful, unstoppable determination. Humans remembered every insult, every betrayal, every act of violence. They did not rush. They did not panic. They waited, studied, and learned. And they waited for the right moment to make the Council remember what it truly meant to shed human blood. In a quiet corner of the galaxy, Admiral Briggs spoke to a small group of commanders. "We will not attack blindly. Will not destroy without cause. We are not cruel, but we are relentless. Every Council ship that dies, every system that falls, will be a lesson. And one day the Council will remember Ethan Cole, and they will remember the price of their choice." The officers nodded. No one spoke further. The silence was not fear. It was focus. It was the calm before the storm, a storm that would not be seen until it struck. Humans were patient. Humans were hidden. Humans were waiting. And somewhere in the Council chamber, the head of the Council thought they had one. They thought they had crushed humanity with fear and blood, but they were wrong. They could not see the truth. They could not see the fire that burned quietly in human hearts across the galaxy. The galaxy believed the Council was powerful. The Council believed humans were broken. But humans did not surrender. humans never surrender. And soon, the Council would learn the cost of spilling human blood. The silence of humanity lasted longer than the Council expected. Weeks turned into months, and still no human fleets appeared. No messages came. The Council assumed their judgment had broken human spirits. They celebrated quietly, believing their power unchallenged. But deep in the shadows of human colonies, preparation moved faster than the Council could imagine. On Mars, beneath the red sands, a network of tunnels and chambers stretched for miles. Lights glowed softly along the walls, powered by solar converters and hidden energy cells. The chambers were filled with humans, soldiers, engineers, scientists, and strategists. They moved with quiet purpose, each person understanding their role. Nothing was wasted, nothing was left to chance. Admiral Laura Briggs stood on a raised platform overlooking the central chamber. Her brown eyes scanned the room, watching human engineers assemble small but powerful ships. Each vessel was designed to move quickly, remain invisible to alien sensors, and strike with precision. Around her, holographic maps of Council space floated in midair, showing fleets, trade routes, and star systems. "Everything must be perfect," Laura said, her voice steady. "The Council thinks we are weak. They think we are disorganized. They are wrong. Every ship, every plan, every movement must be exact. One mistake, and they will punish us before we even begin." A young officer, Daniel Reed, stepped forward. "Admiral, the stealth systems are almost ready. The AI networks have been updated. We can move without detection in Council space." Laura nodded. "Good. Remember, this is not a war of hatred. This is a war of justice. They shed human blood. They killed one of our best. They thought it would scare us. But fear does not exist in the human heart the way it exists in theirs. Fear dies quickly in humans. Anger dies quickly, but planning lasts forever, and we will plan carefully." In a separate chamber, scientists worked on advanced AI systems. These programs were designed to infiltrate alien networks, learn their codes, and manipulate their machines. The AI was called Nemesis. It did not feel hate. It did not feel mercy. It only followed orders, calculating the most efficient way to strike. Humans had taught Nemesis to think like humans, but act without hesitation. One of the scientists, a woman named Rachel Lane, watched the AI interface. "Nemesis is learning fast," she said. "It can predict Council fleet movements even before they leave their docks. If we give it the coordinates, it will find every weak point." A man named Samuel Torres, who had trained for combat on multiple colonies, added, "It's not just Nemesis. Every human in the colonies is ready. We have spent years learning from the Council's mistakes, from their wars, from their technology. We have watched, we have waited, and now we are ready to act without exposing ourselves." Meanwhile, on Earth, communication officers monitored Council broadcasts. The Council still thought humans were silent. They continued to boast, to spread messages of their power, to try to intimidate other species. They did not realize that every broadcast, every signal, every command they sent was being analyzed. Humans studied the Council's patterns. They noticed habits, weaknesses, and predictable responses. A small team led by Ethan Cole's second-in-command, a man named Henry Clark, intercepted a Council message. It contained coordinates for a patrol fleet that would move near a human colony. "They think they are clever," Henry said, shaking his head. "They do not understand that every move they make is now visible to us. Every plan they think is secret is already known." Laura Briggs smiled slightly. "They will never see us coming. And when they do, it will be too late." Humanity has waited for this moment for decades. They made the first mistake when they shed human blood. Everything after that is their punishment. Weeks passed and humanity's operations grew larger. Ships were hidden in asteroid fields, disguised as mining equipment. Supply lines were rerouted through uncharted space. Engineers built new weapons that could strike Council fleets without causing harm to human civilians. Humans were careful. They had learned from their history that war could be brutal, but unnecessary loss of life was wasteful. On a small moon orbiting Jupiter, a training camp for human pilots operated under constant surveillance from hidden sensors. Cadets practiced, Maneuvers that seemed impossible, learning to avoid alien detection. One of the trainers, a man named Alex Mason, spoke to a group of young pilots. You will not fight for revenge. You will fight for survival, for justice. Every movement you make must be precise. Do not hesitate. If you hesitate, the council will kill you. If you move too quickly, the council will see you. Learn balance, and you will win. The young pilots nodded. Each of them understood that failure was not an option. Each of them remembered Ethan Cole. His execution had not just been a death. It was a lesson, a warning that humans must respond. But with patience and strategy, elsewhere human diplomats worked quietly among alien worlds. They had agents disguised as merchants, engineers, and scientists in council territories. Agents reported every decision, every fleet movement, every council argument. Humans knew the council better than the council knew themselves. One agent, a woman named Leela Morgan, sent a report back to Mars. The council thinks humans are gone, she said. They are reorganizing fleets to punish colonies they believe are weak. They are divided. They argue among themselves. This is the moment we have waited for. Laura Briggs received the message and turned to her officers. Patience, she said. Our time is not yet. We move only when everything is ready. We strike, we will do so with precision. The council will not see it coming. The galaxy will remember who humans are. In secret, humanity also prepared its communication systems. Messages were sent not to aliens, but to human colonies across the galaxy. We will act together, the messages read. We will strike only when the time is right. We are patient. We are strong. We are human. Every colony responded with readiness. Humans built shelters, trained soldiers, and studied council technology. They were hidden, silent, and prepared. The council could not imagine the scale of preparation. They had underestimated humans for centuries, believing that human emotion would be their weakness. But emotion had become humanity's greatest strength. Their anger was quiet, their revenge patient, their strategy flawless. One night, Laura Briggs walked alone in the tunnels beneath Mars. She looked at the stars through a small observation window. They think we are weak, she whispered. They think we will beg. They think we are afraid. They are wrong. We are stronger than they will ever know, and they will learn the cost of spilling human blood. Above Mars, the council continued their routine. They celebrated small victories, ignored disappearances of minor fleets, and boasted of their power. They did not notice the small signs of humanity's preparation. Small patrols went missing, communication systems were hacked, and council advisors whispered about unexplained events. But the council dismissed these as errors, as accidents, could not imagine that humans were already in position waiting. In the underground chambers, humans continued their work. Engineers tested new ships. Scientists perfected AI programs. Soldiers trained in simulated battles against council fleets. Every day brought new progress, new strength, and new confidence. The memory of Ethan Cole's execution was never far from their minds. It was a silent fire that kept them moving forward. Months turned into years, and humanity remained hidden, silent, and prepared. The council grew careless, confident in their judgment. They did not notice the fleets disguised in asteroid fields. They did not notice the AI systems infiltrating their networks. Did not notice the humans among their own people. Waiting for the right moment, Laura Briggs gathered her top commanders in a secure room. The council believes they have one, she said. They believe we are silent, but they are wrong. Every plan they make, every fleet they move, every command they give is already known to us. We wait, we observe, and when the time comes, they will pay. Her officers nodded. There was no fear in the room, only resolve. He understood that humanity was not just preparing to fight, humanity was preparing to win. The council had made the first mistake. They had shed human blood. They had underestimated humans. And they would soon learn that humans never forget, humans never forgive, humans never surrender. In the darkness of space, a human fleet waited, hidden among comets, asteroids, and dark matter. They were silent. They were invisible. They were patient. And above all, they were ready. The day would come when the council would realize the cost of their actions. The day would come when the galaxy would remember that humanity had been betrayed, but had not been broken. And somewhere in the council chamber, the head of the council spoke confidently to its members. Humans are gone. They cannot strike us. They are weak. Their time is over. Laura Briggs smiled faintly from her observation window on Mars. They will see, she whispered. They will see. And when they do, it will be too late. The silence continued, but it was no longer empty. It was full of preparation, full of determination, full of the promise that humanity would return. The council did not know it yet, but the first move had already been made. Humans were not just surviving. We were planning, waiting, and preparing to change the fate of the galaxy. Ethan Cole's death had not silenced humanity. It had awakened them, and the council's confidence would be their downfall. The galaxy continued to turn, and the council continued to believe they were safe. They sent fleets across human space, patrolled trade routes, and monitored colonies. They thought humans were weak, scattered, and silent. They were wrong. In the darkness between stars, human ships waited. They were small, fast, and almost invisible. Their engines made no noise. Their shields blended with the black of space. They were shadows hidden among comets and asteroids. Each ship carried skilled pilots, soldiers, and supplies for long missions. These ships were not built to fight openly. They were built to strike with precision and vanish before the council could respond. Captain Darius Holt, human veteran, stood on the bridge of one of the stealth ships. He was tall, with short brown hair and a strong jaw. His eyes were steady as he studied the star map projected before him. "The council does not see us," he said quietly. "They do not know we are here. They do not know we are watching." His second in command, a young woman named Mia Carson, leaned over the map. "We have the coordinates for the patrol fleet near Vega 12. They will pass through a small asteroid field. Nemesis has predicted their movements. If we act now, we can disable them without destroying them." Darius nodded. "Good. No unnecessary deaths. Only the ships. Only the council's power. They shed human blood, and now they will pay, but we strike with precision. Make it clean. Make it quick." The human fleet moved through the darkness, like a river of shadows flowing between stars. Their engines were silent, their shields invisible. They approached the council patrol fleet without being detected. The council had grown careless. They assumed humans were weak, afraid, and disorganized. They had never faced a species that could wait in silence, watch, and strike only when the moment was perfect. The first human ship approached the lead council vessel. Darius spoke calmly into the communicator. "All ships, prepare for Operation Shadow. Remember, strike only the fleet systems. Leave the crew alive if possible. Show them our power without cruelty." The human ships moved quickly. They used small drones to disable engines and communication systems. They released silent pulses that shut down sensors and weapons. The council ships were caught completely off guard. Their crews could not understand what was happening. Systems failed, lights flickered, and ships drifted without control. Captain Holt watched with satisfaction. "Keep it tight. Keep it clean. They will not know what hit them until it is over." The council fleets scrambled, sending signals to each other. "We are under attack." One voice shouted, "Identify the enemy." But there was no enemy to see. Human ships had already vanished into the darkness. Only council ships remained, drifting like toys in space, their crews confused and frightened. Darius smiled. "They will think it was an accident, but they will not forget. Every fleet they lose will remind them of what they did." Back on Mars, Admiral Laura Briggs monitored the operation. She spoke to her officers. "This is only the beginning. They will not know we are in position. They will not understand that every fleet, every system, every command they give is already seen by us. The council will panic, and when they do, we strike again." Meanwhile, the council was in chaos. The patrol fleet near Vega 12 had lost power. Communication with other fleets was failing. Reports of missing ships arrived from different sectors. The council had never faced such a silent enemy. They sent spies, reconnaissance ships, and intelligence teams, but each effort failed. Human technology was invisible, smarter, and faster than anything the council had. In the council chamber, the head of the council spoke with anger. Humans are weak. They cannot strike us. Yet fleets vanish without explanation. This is not acceptable. Find them. Destroy them. Show the galaxy that the council is strong. One of the alien representatives hissed. Perhaps they are learning from the humans' mistakes. Perhaps they have hidden fleets. The head of the council's eyes narrowed. Impossible. Humans are weak, emotional, and afraid. They do not act without fear. They cannot survive in space without guidance. We will find them. But the council could not see what humans had already learned. They did not know that human fleets were everywhere. They did not know that human agents had already infiltrated council space stations. They did not know that Nemesis, the human AI, controlled council systems in ways they could not detect. In one small council station near the edge of human territory, human agents acted. Leela Morgan, disguised as a council engineer, walked through the hallways. She carried a small device that could disable security systems. She moved silently, planting devices in critical systems. Within hours, the station's communication channels, weapon systems, and navigation were under human control. She sent a quiet message back to Mars. Station secure. Systems offline. The council will not know until it is too late. Back on Mars, Laura Briggs smiled. Every station, every ship, every fleet, they are ours. We are not attacking blindly. We are controlling the battlefield before it even begins. This is what it means to be human. Across the galaxy, human agents continued their work. They were engineers, scientists, soldiers, and diplomats, hidden in plain sight. They moved through council space with purpose, learning, observing, and preparing for the final strike. Each small success strengthened humanity's position. Each failure taught a lesson. Each day brought them closer to the council's defeat. Captain Darius Holt led another operation near a council trade route. Ships carrying supplies for council colonies were intercepted. Human pilots used small, precise weapons to disable engines and sensors. The supplies were rerouted to hidden human colonies. No one was hurt, but the council's power was weakened. Holt spoke to his crew. They will panic. They will wonder who is responsible. And when they do, we strike again. Remember, humans are patient. Humans are careful. And humans always remember the first bloodshed. Mia Carson nodded. They think they are safe in their fleets. They think they are untouchable. They have no idea that every move is watched. Every order is known. Every plan is predicted. Holt smiled faintly. They will learn. They will remember Ethan Cole. They will remember every human who died because of their fear and pride. And when they do, they will realize their mistake. It will be too late. In council space, alien officers argued among themselves. Some wanted to strengthen fleets. Others wanted to attack human colonies directly. Confusion spread. The council had never faced an enemy that moved like shadows, acted with patience, and struck without warning. One alien officer, Vrax named Kaller, said, "We cannot understand them. They are too unpredictable. Every fleet disappears. Every system fails. We cannot fight an enemy we cannot see." The council dismissed his warning. Humans are weak, they said. They cannot survive in space. They cannot hide for long. They will make a mistake, and we will destroy them. But humans did not make mistakes. They acted slowly, carefully, and with purpose. They studied the council, learned their patterns, and exploited weaknesses. Every fleet lost, every station disabled, every council system hacked was part of a larger plan. Humans were not attacking blindly. They were shaping the battlefield to their advantage. On Mars, Laura Briggs watched the reports of human operations. She turned to her officers. They believe they are powerful. They believe humans are weak. They do not understand that humans fight differently. We do not rely on brute force. We rely on intelligence, planning, and patience. The first blood they shed was the mistake that will cost them everything. In the shadows of space, human fleets moved again. They intercepted another council patrol, disabling ships silently. They took no lives, only power. The council began to realize that humans were not weak. They were everywhere, invisible, and unstoppable. Captain Holt received a message from Mars. "The council is in chaos," it read. "Every fleet we strike brings them closer to panic. They do not know who controls the battlefield. They do not know we are already in position." Holt nodded. "Good. Keep it quiet. Keep it clean. We strike only when the time is right. Every move must be precise." They shed human blood. Now they will see the cost of their actions. The council's confidence began to crumble. Their fleets could not protect trade routes. Their stations failed without warning. Their spies disappeared. Panic spread among the alien races. They had underestimated humans. They had forgotten the lesson of Ethan Cole. They had forgotten that humans could wait, plan and strike without mercy. In the dark tunnels beneath Mars, humans continued to prepare. Engineers built more ships. Scientists updated Nemesis. Soldiers trained tirelessly. Every person understood their role. Every person understood the promise made by Ethan Cole's death. The council would pay, but humanity would not act recklessly. They would strike with precision, patience, and intelligence. Captain Holt led his fleet to a hidden asteroid field, waiting for the next council movement. "They think they control the galaxy," he said. "They do not. They cannot see what we have built. They cannot see what we have prepared. Every fleet we disable, every system we control, is a reminder that humans never forget. And they will remember Ethan Cole and every human who died because of council pride." Mia Carson looked at the stars. "They will never know we are here until it is too late. They will never understand humans until they lose everything." Holt nodded. "Let them learn the hard way." The council's pride had shattered. The alien fleets no longer moved with confidence. Trade routes were paralyzed. Stations were offline, and panic spread through every corner of the galaxy. The council, once seen as the ultimate authority, was now fractured and helpless. Humanity had changed the rules of engagement without firing a single overt shot. On the bridge of the Mars Command Station, Admiral Laura Briggs watched the reports come in. Her face was calm, her eyes steady. The screens displayed council fleets, drifting powerless. Council systems disabled by Nemesis, and alien communication channels hijacked by human intelligence. The council's own machines had turned against them. "Every system is responding exactly as we predicted," Laura said. "The council thought they controlled the galaxy, but they cannot even control themselves. Their pride has become their weakness." Her officers nodded. Each understood the scale of what was happening. Humans had fought silently for decades, but the moment of reckoning had arrived. Patience had become power, and power was now in human hands. In orbit around the council capital, human stealth ships drifted unseen. Captain Darius Holt, leading one of the largest strike fleets, spoke to his crews. "We do not attack without reason. We do not destroy without cause. Every move we make is measured, precise, and just." They shed human blood. They thought it would scare us. They were wrong. Today, they will learn what humanity means. Holt's second-in-command, Mia Carson, checked the fleet's systems. "All units are ready. Nemesis has control over the capital's shields, communications, and defense grids. We can disable their weapons without harming civilians. It will be clean, fast, and complete." "Good," Holt said. "Precision is key. We are not here to kill indiscriminately. We are here to show them that shedding human blood carries consequences. The council will never forget Ethan Cole, and neither will we." Inside the council capital, chaos reigned. Alien delegates ran through corridors, barking orders, trying to regain control. Their systems failed one by one. Security drones turned against them. Ships in orbit malfunctioned and collided. Communications were cut. The council could not understand the invisible hand guiding these disasters. The head of the council attempted to speak, its voice echoing through the chamber. "This is impossible. Humans cannot be here. We control all space in this region. They are weak. They are gone. But the words fell on deaf ears. The council could not see what humans had already done. They could not understand the patience, strategy, and intelligence that humans had used to infiltrate their systems. Their own technology betrayed them. Their fleets were crippled. Their authority dissolved. On Mars, Laura Briggs activated a secure communication channel to the human fleets. "The time has come," she said simply. "Execute Operation Justice." The human fleets moved like shadows. Their ships appeared around the capital in perfect synchronization. They did not fire weapons blindly. Instead, they disabled engines, communications, and defense systems. Council fleets in orbit were rendered immobile. The capital's shields fell, and systems failed one by one. Captain Holt coordinated the attack from his stealth ship. All units, confirm positions. Begin disable sequences. We move quickly, cleanly, and without hesitation. The human crews worked silently, their actions precise. The Council's defenses fell, but no civilians were harmed. Human AI and human skill worked together, disabling threats before they could react. Within hours, the Council's power was broken. Fleets drifted useless in orbit. Command centers were silent. Alien representatives could do nothing to stop the invisible force controlling their systems in the Council chamber. The head of the Council screamed in frustration. "Impossible. How can humans do this? They are gone. They should not exist." One of the alien representatives, a Jaren named Korath, whispered in fear. "They are everywhere. We cannot stop them. They control everything." The Council's panic spread across their worlds. The Vrax homeworld lost power in key cities. The Olkar fleets retreated into deep space. The Duran crystalline cities collapsed as security systems failed. The Council's reputation, once untouchable, crumbled. Admiral Laura Briggs spoke to her officers. "They will remember today. Every fleet, every system, every city. Humanity has returned, but not to conquer. We have returned to show that betrayal carries consequences." The Council shed human blood, and now they see the price. Captain Holt received a report from one of his units. The Council fleets are surrendering control. Their ships are drifting. Their systems are offline. They do not know how we did this. Holt nodded. "Good. Leave them with enough to remember us. They must understand the cost of their actions, but we do not destroy unnecessarily. Humans are just. We strike with precision, not rage." On the Council capital, the surviving representatives gathered. Their leaders were humiliated. Systems failed, fleets were crippled, and alien populations panicked. The Council had lost all control. Their pride had been their undoing. A young human officer, Liam Shaw, spoke to his team from a secure Mars channel. The Council underestimated patience. They underestimated strategy. They thought killing one human would break an entire species. They were wrong. We are humans. We endure. We plan. We wait. And when we act, we strike perfectly. Laura Briggs smiled at the report. Let them remember. Let them tell their children what happens when they shed human blood. Today, the Council signed their own extinction. Even after victory, humans did not occupy Council territory. They did not enslave, loot, or destroy more than necessary. Their fleets disappeared into the darkness again, leaving behind only a reminder of their strength. Fleets that had drifted helpless were returned to their populations without casualties. The Council's power was broken, but humanity acted with restraint. Captain Holt looked at the stars from his stealth ship. They will remember this day. They will fear us, but not because we are cruel. They will fear us because we are humans. We do not forget. We do not forgive easily. We do not surrender. And they will know the cost of shedding human blood. Mia Carson nodded. Every system we touched, every fleet we disabled, every plan we predicted, it will be studied for centuries. The Council will never be the same again. Back on Mars, Admiral Briggs addressed her officers. This is the moment humanity has been preparing for decades. We did not act recklessly. We acted with precision. The Council made their choice. They drew first blood. They forced our hand. Now the galaxy will remember humanity not as weak, but as patient, intelligent, and unstoppable. In the ruins of Council worlds, alien historians tried to record what had happened. Ships drifted silently, stations lay offline, and cities were empty. Messages left by human agents warned of what could happen if the Council ever acted against humans again. One message read, "We wanted peace. You gave us blood. Remember it." On Earth, Admiral Briggs looked at the night sky. The stars reflected in her eyes as she spoke softly. "Let them remember this lesson. Never make humanity bleed again." She turned to her officers. "We do not seek revenge. We seek justice." And today, justice was done. Captain Holt returned his fleet to hidden bases, blending once more into the shadows. Humans would remain hidden, waiting, ready for any threat. Their strength had been proven. Their patience had won. The galaxy had learned the power of humanity. Liam Shaw whispered to himself as he watched council reports. Ethan Cole's death was the spark. Their pride was the fire. Humanity endured. Humanity won, and they will never forget it. The day the council shed human blood became legend. Across the galaxy, alien races whispered of what had happened. Humans were no longer seen as weak or afraid. They were seen as patient, intelligent, and unstoppable. The galaxy would remember the lesson for generations. The first species that spills human blood pays. It's the ultimate price. And somewhere, deep in the darkness of space, human fleets waited silently. They would never forget. They would never forgive. They would always protect humanity. And the stars themselves seemed to reflect the quiet power of a species that had been underestimated, a species that had turned betrayal into triumph. The galaxy had learned its lesson. The Council had learned it in the worst way. Humanity had returned, patient and strong, and the first blood spilled by the Council had sealed its own extinction. Aaron Blake sat on the cold metal floor of the alien's cell, his hands bound by chains that cut into his wrists. The walls glowed faintly with a green light that pulsed slowly like the heartbeat of the ship itself. Outside, he could hear the low hum of engines and the faint sounds of alien voices, speaking in a language that his ears could barely understand. He had no idea how long he had been there. Hours? Days? Time did not matter anymore. What mattered was survival, and the human inside him refused to die quietly. He leaned his head back against the wall and closed his eyes for a moment. The memory of the battle flashed in his mind. The USN Resolute, his ship, had been torn apart by the Zorth Dominion fleet. He had watched his crew fall one by one. The explosions, the screaming, the cold vacuum of space outside it was all still vivid. He had thought he would die in the void, but somehow he had survived. Now he was their prisoner, alone in the middle of alien space, surrounded by beings who saw him as nothing more than a specimen to break. The door hissed open. Aaron lifted his head slowly, his eyes adjusting to the brighter light that spilled into the room. A Zorth officer entered. It was General Thrackle. He was massive, taller than any human could be, with skin that shimmered like polished steel and eyes that glowed faintly red. His mandibles clicked softly as he spoke, a sound that made Aaron's skin crawl. "You are awake, human," Thrackle said. His voice was cold and metallic, echoing in the small room. "Your execution will be public. All will see how weak your species truly is," Aaron smiled faintly. He did not reply immediately. Instead, he looked at the alien as if seeing a puzzle he needed to solve. "I suppose that's your way of celebrating a victory," he said finally, his voice calm. "Does it make you feel strong?" Thrackle tilted his head, confused. He did not expect defiance. "You will speak when I command it," he said, clicking his mandibles. "Soon, all will know the fate of humans. You will die like all the others." Aaron did not flinch. "Humans don't break that easy," he said. "Even when we are beaten, even when we are cornered, we fight in ways you cannot understand." The alien's glowing eyes narrowed. He did not like this human's confidence. Aliens were logical creatures. Fear was expected. Pain was expected. But courage real courage, was a pattern they could not compute. Thrackle turned and left the room, leaving Aaron alone once again. Aaron exhaled slowly. He knew the execution would come soon. He could hear the distant hum of the alien warship preparing for the ceremony. He also knew he had one advantage. Even in this desperate situation, he still had a plan. Before the Resolute had been destroyed, he and his second officer, Nina Carter, had uploaded a virus into the Dominion's network. It was small, almost invisible, but powerful. It would remain dormant until it received a signal one he could send if he had access to the right systems. He pressed his fingers against the small neural chip he had hidden in the sleeve of his uniform. It was a tiny piece of technology, but it was enough. If he survived the upcoming execution, he could trigger it and create chaos among the Dominion fleet. But first, he needed to survive the arena. A young alien guard appeared in the doorway. Lyra, she was called. She was smaller than the others, with eyes that seemed less harsh. She watched Aaron closely. Unlike most of her kind, she had observed humans before. She had seen them fight even when hope was lost. She had seen them endure unimaginable pain and still rise. There was something about this human, Aaron Blake, that made her hesitate. "You will not escape," she said softly, almost to herself. "None have before." Aaron met her gaze. "Escape is not my goal," he said. "Not yet. I only want to make sure my people are remembered. That's all that matters." Lyra blinked. She had never heard a human speak like that. There was no fear, no pleading, only a quiet certainty. Something inside her stirred. She wondered if the Dominion's cruelty was justified. She wondered if humans really were as weak as her leaders claimed. The guards returned and unchained him. Aaron stood slowly, stretching muscles that ached from sitting for hours. He kept his movements calm and measured. Every step was deliberate, every glance calculated. He was a human, yes, but he was also a soldier, trained to survive against impossible odds. They escorted him down long corridors filled with machinery that whirred and clicked. The walls vibrated with energy and the air smelled metallic and sharp. Every now and then he caught glimpses of other prisoners, beings of all shapes and sizes, shackled and waiting. Some were crying. Some were silent. All looked defeated. But Aaron felt no despair. Humans had a strange way of enduring. They could take the worst the universe could throw at them and still stand tall. Finally, they arrived at a large chamber. The doors slid open, revealing a massive arena. The ceiling was high, and the floor was illuminated by a strange blue energy. Thousands of alien spectators filled the stands, their forms strange and terrifying. Their voices rose in unison, a wave of sound that would have crushed most humans. But Aaron felt only focus. The executioner waited at the center, a massive alien named Korak. His body was covered in armor plates, and in his hands he held a blade that glowed red with energy. It was designed to cut through anything, even metal. The crowd cheered, their excitement deafening. This was a spectacle, a warning. But Aaron smiled faintly. He had seen worse. He had survived worse. An announcer's voice boomed across the arena. Aaron did not understand the words, but he understood the meaning. He was guilty. He was about to die. But he would not beg. He would not cry. Humans did not die quietly when they could make a statement, even in their final moments. Korak stepped forward. The red blade hummed as he raised it. Final words? Human? His voice was deep, resonant, and terrifying. Aaron looked up at him, calm and collected. He smiled just a little. "Yeah," he said. "You first." The crowd laughed. They thought it was a joke. The alien soldiers around him tensed. Korak's glowing eyes narrowed. He had never faced a human like this. Usually they cowered. Usually they begged. But Aaron was not like the others. Aaron shifted slightly, feeling the neural chip beneath his uniform. The signal was ready. Soon the Dominion would see the true cost of underestimating humans. He could feel it in his bones. His body ached, his muscles burned, but his spirit was strong. Humans had survived against impossible odds before. They had faced extinction, and yet they endured. And now, even chained and beaten, he would show the Dominion that humans were not so easily broken. The lights in the arena flickered for a moment. The crowd murmured in confusion. Aaron did not flinch. His eyes scanned the surroundings, noting the positions of the guards and the weak points in the machinery. Every detail mattered. Every second counted. Korak raised his blade higher. Aaron held his breath, waiting for the moment that would change everything. He was calm. He was ready. The alien thought they held all the power. They thought that humans could be crushed like ants. But Aaron knew the truth. Humans were unpredictable. Humans were stubborn. Humans were dangerous, even when they seemed powerless. A faint click echoed through the arena. Aaron's lips curled into a slight smile. The virus had begun its work. The lights flickered again, and some of the energy devices sparked. The crowd gasped, unsure what was happening. Korak's eyes widened in shock. Aaron whispered to himself, almost silently, "It's time." Lyra, watching from the sidelines, felt a shiver run down her spine. This human was not afraid. Not of pain, not of death, not of the entire Dominion. There was something different about him. Something that made her question everything she had believed. Aaron took a deep breath. He did not struggle. He did not plead. He only waited. And then, when the moment was right, he smiled again, calm and defiant. He was a human. He was a survivor. And he was about to prove that no alien, no matter how powerful, could break the human spirit. The arena held its breath, and the first sparks of rebellion began to glow in the heart of the Dominion's mighty warship.